So my little niece-in-law called me at work the other day. Child, I was busy. But I was like, oh, something must be going on. This baby is calling me. Let me call her. Now listen, I refer to her as a baby because, I'm a woman of a certain age, but she's grown, like grown. You know what I mean? Old enough to be handling her own business now. Does she handle her own business well? Questionable. But look, let me tell you what happened. She calls me. Now, please understand. Yeah, she my niece-in-law. That means she's married into the family. But everybody calls, sister, brother, auntie, mother, cousin, whatever. People just have like terms of endearment for each other. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's your actual relationship. They just in the family. But this girl is related by marriage. So she technically is my niece-in-law, but she calls me mama. She's Southern. I mean, okay, I get that that's like a term of endearment and I really appreciate it. But she's like, mama. My kids don't call me mama. But I'm a Northern heathen. So, I mean, at least according to her side of the family. So, her calling me mama, I'm not going to let it bother me that much. Anyway. So she's like, mama, you're not going to believe what happened. I said, what happened, baby? Because, I was like, I'm at work. I'm at work, right? It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. She said, my dad is dead. I said, what? She said, yes, mama, my daddy is dead. Oh, my daddy is dead. Now, listen, I know she has a father. I met her father at the wedding. I think it was a lot of people at that wedding. Do I know which one was her daddy? No, but she's a sweet girl. I said, oh, baby, I'm so sorry for your loss. When is the funeral? She said, we don't know. He's over there on the floor. What you mean he's over there on the floor? He just died right now. Heather, shouldn't you be calling 911? Do I look like 911? Also, I live several states away, so I can't even go over there and give the CPR or nothing. So I was like, okay, baby, where's your husband? My nephew. And I said, nephew, what is happening? He said, yeah, Mom. He dead over there on the floor. The 911 told us that maybe we should call the coroner because there's nothing else we could do for him. Why are you calling me several states away? Shouldn't y'all be looking up the coroner? Doesn't 911 have like a direct connect to them? Why did I get this phone call? And so he was just like, yeah, I don't know. The now widow is trying to find it, but the reception is bad in the basement, so she gonna go outside and see, and she can get a better signal. What are y'all doing? Now listen, this whole scenario should have told me these people are not good at making decisions. But me, being the big dummy that I am, I missed all the red flags. So I was just like, okay, oh please, I got a little frog in my throat. I said, okay, well, let me call you back. Because clearly these fools wasn't going to hang up the phone. I had to get off the phone, right? So I called my husband and he'd answer. So I texted him, niece-in-law's daddy done died. And he just texted back, okay. I texted him, well, I'm at work. Call over there and see if you can help. And he texted me back and was just like, I don't know. There's nothing I could do. You didn't even call and find out if there was something you could do. He was just like, no. All right, I'm going to get to it. He waits. Now, look, I'm like, okay, call and see if maybe you could I don't know, send Uber to take the kids to school or something like that. I don't know. He waits 3 or 4 hours and then he calls. He's like, yeah, by the time I got to them, they was at the hospital. They had the coroner. Everything was good. How long did you wait? He's like 3 hours. He's like, you just be rushing in trying to fix stuff and help people. You leave them alone, they sort it out on their own. Oh, okay, I guess they sorted it out. So they tell us when the funeral is. Now, this girl who married into my family is a white girl. I have no problem with the fact that my nephew done married a white girl. A lot of my nephews married white girls and some of my sons too. I don't care. I don't mind a white girl. What I do mind is a low-class girl. I'm not trying to be a snob. I keep my pinkies out of stuff. But I'm just like, whoever you marry, you need to be well partnered. They need to have their act right fully installed. You have your act right fully installed. And I've only seen like bits and pieces of her family. And the bits and pieces that I saw, I was like, okay. So I called my niece-in-law and I said, baby, where's the funeral going to be? Oh, no, we not really having like a funeral. What y'all gonna do? Oh, we just gonna have a bonfire. A bonfire. Yeah, we're gonna have a memorial bonfire because Daddy really, really loved bonfires. Okay. Is the body gonna be there? Oh, we're gonna cremate it. I was like, ooh, Black Jesus, please don't let this happen. Tell me they're gonna cremate him themselves, because you know they a little bit country, and so they might. I don't know how they do over there. They down in Georgia. Y'all know I live in the godless Northeast. I don't know how they get down in Georgia, and they like rural Georgia, rural North Georgia. I don't know how things go down over there. So I just was like, okay. So we go, and she says the bonfire is going to be from 11 to 1, and we was going to do it at whatever, some bonfire spot. They got bonfire spots, but they decided to do it outside the city limits. That way they didn't have to pay nothing, because, you know, they was trying to save money. Okay. So I go to the funeral. I get dressed up. What do you wear to a bonfire funeral? This is not my area of expertise. So I just wore some, you know, black stretchy pants. I love a stretchy pant. You can wear black stretchy pants to anything. So I wore my black stretchy pants and a nice blouse. And I went put in my little button earrings. And I was just like, okay, my husband is dressed nice. He has on his little black. He in his family, they wear white to funerals. So he had on like a white shirt and black pants, whatever. Everybody was like, y'all look good. Y'all look good. What did y'all expect us to wear? So they roll up and they van. The bumper is falling off. It's held on with duct tape. Child, the muffler, it was it's like, I'm surprised this vehicle made it over here, but okay. Everybody rolls out, and they in holy jeans, sweatshirts. Some of the kids was wearing pajamas. At Grandpa's memorial bonfire. Let me not say nothing. So my niece-in-law was just like, we brought some camping chairs and stuff so people could sit. Okay, that's fine. So we sit, we go, and it's like blankets. You can sit down or whatever. It's like a park kind of situation, but not really. And so she walks over to where they had set up like flowers or whatever for the service. And she falls all, oh, I can't take it. I can't take it. Oh my God. Now listen. Far be it from me to mock the way somebody grieves. People grieve the way they grieve. It has nothing to do with me. Bless her heart. My heart broke for her. I could not believe that, like, oh, this poor baby girl, she done lost her daddy. One thing, at my funeral, I'm real conservative, like, and so what I would like to have at my funeral is for everybody to just wear their regular panties. Now listen, or boxers, whatever. She fell all out and she rolling around in the grass and she had no drawers on. So now everybody can see her goodness and mercy at a daddy funeral. Can you weep with your legs closed? So I was like, we don't have a prayer cloth or nothing. We need to put something on her. You know how down to the church when folks get slayed in the spirit, you got to just lay a little cloth on them. So, you know, you can't see they full behind. All of her cheeks was out. And I was like, okay, okay. So she got herself together. She went and she sat and she was, you know, dabbing. She didn't need no cry angle. She was full on crying. Hair was askew. Dress was all discombobulated or whatever. It had grass stains on it from where she was rolling in the grass. I said to my husband, what in the hillbilly nonsense have we gotten ourselves into? He's like, shh, 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 shh. And then here comes the widow to stand up and say her piece. And I was just like, she was mumbling. I couldn't hear her. So I said to the man next to me, can you hear her? I can barely hear her. He said, you know, she always been talking soft ever since she got thrown by that tornado back in 68. What? Thrown by the tornado? What? Her mama got thrown by a tornado? But look, these people married into the family. So I don't know that much about the family. She got thrown by a tornado in 68, you say? Oh, okay. So then later I'm talking to another cousin and I said, could you hear what she said? I couldn't hear. I wanted to hear, you know, what warm expressions she had about her husband. And they said, yeah, you know, everything, ever since like the thing with her head. I said, oh yeah, I heard she had a TBI, you know, a traumatic brain injury. They said, oh, no. She didn't have TB. I mean, she had tuberculosis that one time, but you know, they didn't give her no treatment because they thought the Lord was going to cure her. And I guess he really didn't. And that's why her hair fell out. That's why she wear a wig now. Wait. That's a wig. She's wearing a wig. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, so she got thrown by a tornado and she's wearing a wig, the poor woman. And then she went to walk and I noticed she had this weird limp. The last time I saw her was at their wedding 4 or 5 years ago. And I said, oh, poor thing. What happened to her knee? Oh, she always be falling down the stairs ever since, because she has that inner ear thing. Y'all, every time I talk to a different relative, they had a different dread disease or ailment or something that attacked her. Apparently, a chicken pecked at her feet when she was young. And so now her pinky baby toe is missing. Y'all, how did he died first and not her? She was thrown by the tornado. She had tuberculosis. They don't believe in medication. At one point, she bent her head down to pray. Her wig was a little bit askew. I was like, okay, maybe this is how they do funerals in real America. I live in the godless Northeast. I was looking around like, what is this? Everybody in their blue jeans. And then my little niece-in-law was like, you see them over there? I said, who? Because, I just wanted all the family tea, child. I want that good. She said, that's my racist great aunt I was telling you about. I said, for real? She's like, she don't like me because I married a black man. I said, for real? Oh, my God. So my niece-in-law walked away. I went right up to her great aunt. Because if you a racist, I want to know you. Be racist to my face. I want to see it. I want to experience it live and live. Like, hi, what's your name? My name is Kathy. So nice to meet you. She said, hey, baby, how are you? And I started talking to her. She was charming and delightful. You know what else she was? Classy. Now, might she also be a racist? I don't know. I have no information, but what I did notice at this funeral, based on the description that my niece-in-law had given me, I assumed it was going to be all, unmelanated folks. It was all kinds of black, brown, interracial, all kinds of people up in there. And everybody was just like giving warm hugs and talking, and everybody was getting along real good. And I was like, they not very good at being racist. So, the racist contingent, I'm leaning in and I'm talking to them, will tell me every single thing. With this old granny, turns out this great aunt, she looked about 70. Child, she told me she was 90. She's like, yes, I'm 90 years. I'm telling you, hair beautiful, laid, perfect, understated diamonds, daytime pearls, a Talbot suit. And she introduced me to my daughter, my niece-in-law's uncles, other uncles and aunts and stuff. And I was like, oh, that side of the family, the bougie side of the family. I liked them a real lot. Well, first of all, the great auntie who's supposed to be a racist. I was like, 90, you say? What is your skincare routine? Because this is what I want to look like when I'm 90. Child, she was getting around good. She had no mobility issues. Clearly, she was never thrown by a tornado or she never had tuberculosis and none of the other things. Her health seemed excellent. I was like, oh, she was just like, She was telling me, oh, I just take my vitamins and I drink a cup of Sanka every morning. I said, I love Sanka too. And we just had a nice kiki. And for the rest of the funeral, child, we was funeral BFFs. And my niece-in-law's brother, who's also supposed to be a racist, I heard about him. So I walked up and introduced myself. He said, hey, baby girl, it's nice to meet you. Gave me a nice warm hug. He said, listen, I need to go help my wife. Can you hold my baby for a second? And he handed me his baby. No, wait. How is this so-called racist man handing me his little white baby and walking away? He don't know what if he's like that mean and that bad. Maybe he thinks I'm going to do something bad to his baby. I didn't. I just said coochie, coochie, coo and gave that baby back because, I'm not really into babies like that. Come to find out later that I think the family divide is based on the fact that some of them are more down home. My niece-in-law, this girl that my nephew done married, she's like from the Beverly Hillbillies contingent of the family, and the rest of the family is just from like the bougie side of the family. Given a choice, I would rather hang out with the Talbot's crew. You know what I'm saying? Like the bougie side. But I was only there because my niece-in-law had wanted me to be. Also, she married into the family a few years ago. Why am I even traveling for this funeral? Anyway, the main reason I went was because I heard it was going to be some family mess. And a family secret was supposed to come out. Well, I was expecting like some extra kids or something like that. Come to find out, the family secret is that the daddy who passed away, child, had a whole like a cigar box with bars of gold in it, and he left it to my niece-in-law. He didn't leave nothing to nobody else. They sat down and they read the will or whatever, and he said, I leave my son, my Jeep, and I leave my beloved wife, my good house slippers. I was like, we ain't need a will reading for none of this. We ain't need and he was like, and for my daughter, he left somebody a thermos. I don't know what was in that thermos. Let me find out it was gold ingots or something in that thermos. And he left his daughter, my niece-in-law, a cigar box. The cigar box had a bunch of gold bars in it. She gave them to the kids to play with. Girl, as strapped as y'all are for cash all the time, you gonna give the baby the gold bars to play with? That sounds about right. That sounds like something she would do. And so finally I said to her, now baby, listen, I'm not trying to get in your financial business or nothing, but those are worth something. So I know you were struggling to pay for this funeral. She said, can you give us a little something on this funeral? I said, no, girl, because I see how they be spending their money. I might pay that funeral director directly a little bit of something. But see, you start giving folks money and then you looking real hard at every other penny they spend. Like, oh, you ain't have money to pay for your daddy's funeral, but you have money for this and that. They was pinching pennies to get together this burial, whatever it was, this cookout that they had. But they all had big, giant daddy tattoos on their tattoo this big. That couldn't have been cheap. 2 or 3 of y'all had these big. Can you get a tattoo on layaway? I don't think so. I think you got to pay for it in cash. Y'all had money for that, but you ain't have money for, okay. So she said, to honor my daddy, we're going to do the one thing he would have wanted. And she pulled out a whole bunch of sticks. I was like, what in the hillbilly nonsense? They pulled out a big pack of hot dogs and they started passing them around so everybody could roast hot dogs in Daddy's honor. I said, we had a long trip. We got to go. Me and my husband left to go back to the hotel. And then later she was like, y'all gonna come by the house? We got some dogs left over. Y'all can have some of these hot dogs and stuff. Well, Heifer, first of all, I saw you just take them hot dogs out your purse and you was just reaching your hand in the pack and handing them out to people. I don't want no fingered up hot dogs. No, thank you. Nothing. Thank you so much for the invite, baby. We just gonna stay right over here at the hotel. I'm a swim. I started to invite her kids to come over and swim, but I saw them kids. First of all, that might be the first bath they had in a minute, and the dirt might clog up the filters at the hotel. And she was like, before you go, you got to meet my BFF. Okay, baby, let me meet your BFF. To this woman who is married with children or whatever, I assume she had a female BFF. No, some big dude comes over. How you doing? I've been her best friend forever. Okay. Who am I to judge? She said, I love him. I love him so much. She's rubbing his back and hanging all on him and rubbing herself on him at her daddy's funeral. This man was just like, I love daddy like he was my own daddy. Oh, he meant something special to me. Oh, he was something special. He's like, let me tell you something. Lean over to whisper to me. Child, I don't know what he whispered. Why did his breath smell like wide open ass? How come people with the worst breath? This boy smelled like he been eating doo-doo sandwiches. I couldn't do it. I could not do. I said, okay, yeah. You know, we real conservative. My husband don't like other men whispering to me. Why don't you stand on the other side of the field? Why don't you just send me a text message to tell me what she was going to tell me? That breath curled my toes. I couldn't do it. So me and my husband went back to the hotel and baptized ourselves in hand sanitizer, got the smoke smell off of us, swam in the pool. And then we went out to a nice sit-down dinner and got our asses the hell out of regular America. I'm back in the godless Northeast today. It was nice to see that part of the country. I hope to never return. Now listen, part of the problem with telling stories about my family is that they might see this. So some of these details, some of the identifying characteristics have been slightly altered. Sadly, not that much. But you know how we do it. You ain't heard none of this from me.